So what happens when two third-generation Arizona women authors who are passionate about their state start talking about experiences, insights, and memories of different places? They don't stop talking. They write a book, and then they start a podcast. Welcome to Celebrating Arizona with Julie Morrison and Lisa Schnebly Heidinger. Grab your favorite drink and settle in. We're celebrating Arizona, going everywhere from A to Z. And we're off.
Hello.
Hello, Julie. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Are there dogs in the room to greet? Hello, Luna.
Not at this time, but
Okay.
that can change at any moment. Yes. Unlike a road trip. Yeah.
That can't change at any time, huh?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Mayor's already here and in this place. Did you ever have a teacher sing good morning to you? Good morning to you. We're all in our places with bright, shiny faces.
No.
You'd remember that.
No,
I can
I
tell by your
didn't.
expression.
There was a good morning to you, good morning to you, good morning, dear Julie, good morning to you.
Okay.
Yeah, that we did that. Sometimes we would do that in my family. My dad started to do that when I was a teenager, having to get up for high school. I don't know if he felt that if he sang, he wouldn't hear my grumbling.
I was going to say, or you'd wake up happy?
Or I would have, he would have a better chance of like not a pillow not being thrown at the door or something like that. But sometimes, yes.
That's cute.
Yep. That was the wake up. That was the wake up jingle. Mm-hmm.
You're not high on originality, but very high on trying to make things better for his
Yes,
girl.
strong effort for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, effort. I hope it's not effort to take us somewhere.
Oh, good. No, I doubt it should be. We don't even have to drive. So.
How bad can this be? She
Yeah,
says.
right. So there's no traffic. There's no, yeah. So where will you take us?
No. Am I?
Yes.
Oh, I
Unless you
am.
want us to do it another way.
No,
It doesn't
let's
matter.
do it this way.
Okay.
For somebody who's pretty good at some things, I am remarkably inept on outlines. Okay, we are going up the 17 to Middle Verde, I believe. And this is one of I was going to say the new Arizona 250 treasures. So there are Arizona 250, which is the commission that is staging our part in the celebration of the country turning 250 next year. And AZ 250 is our official podcast partner. I guess we are its official podcast partner.
Yes.
And so one of the things is a passport, an AZ 250 passport, but not just one passport. There is a brewery wine passport, there's a hiking passport, and all of this is still in early stages.
Yeah.
So I could say something that could turn out not to be exactly the way I said it right now, but a hikes passport, a bird watching passport, a passport that is mostly called treasures. And they have said, okay, these are the first 25. So I thought, well, let's do something AZ 250-ish. And I looked at the list and saw Verde Canyon Railway.
Oh,
And
yes.
thought, we haven't done that yet.
No, we haven't. Wonderful.
And I have not been on the Verde Canyon Railway in just over 30 years. And were you to say, how do you know, Julie or Lisa? I would say, well, actually, Julie, I know because Rye was 6 weeks old.
Ah, yes.
Sedona being then 2 and change. And on the day that we went, his friend across the street, Dominic, was born. We didn't know it till we got back to town. So Dominic, having recently turned 30, we know that this was, and it was memorable partly because it was the last trip my dad and kids and I went on for quite some time.
With a 2-year-old and a 6-week-old, and that's going to use up some credit, I would think.
It truly did. And somehow we didn't think out, we'll just zip up there for 2 hours, wait around, go on the train, 4 hours, drive back. That's an 8+ hour. What were we thinking?
Yeah, that's a lot.
It was very abstract, but I have lovely photographs, good memories. One of the things that stuck out to me was that Sedona loved to stand in the aisle between the two of us. And as the train would kind
Oh,
of do the
would rock a
train
little.
thinging
Yep.
down, and so once in a while there'd be a nice gentle S curve, but it would cause her to list, and she would say with perfect sincerity every time, "What's happening to me?"
Oh,
And I thought, there speaks the world.
no.
It's happening to me. It's to me. It's not the train. It's not.
Yeah.
And but she was a trooper. She was a brick, always on trips, and it was fun, even though clearly there were some stressors. I had heard of Perkinsville. That's kind of where you turn around and come
Yes.
back, and
Yes.
and having looked it up now to make sure I still knew what I was talking about, they've really upped their game, and dare I say their prices since I went last. But the premise is the same. It's a train that started in statehood year, I think, 1912, and 2 hours out, two back, and there's the observation car where you can stand out on the deck, and
Yes.
then there's the drinks car. But they now have, I guess you feed and consume, imbibe with pretty much however you go. Back then, we just basically sat in coach and walked out on the platform, and now it's all, even the basis, the bottom line is a lot more luxe than it was last time we went. So, particularly now that it is a treasure on the AZ250 passport, I
Yes.
should, we should, you should, somebody should think about going back and seeing how it's changed and how it's the same.
Well, it's interesting that you mention it because it dovetails into where I'm taking us
Oh,
as
for crying
well.
out loud.
Yes, and I'll just go ahead and say it that when I took the Verde Canyon Railway, there were representatives from Liberty Wildlife with owls and falcons, raptors with them, like that
Oh,
were
for
on
crying
their
out
kind of on their
loud.
arms.
They're good.
Yeah.
They're
And so we could visit, we could, walk up and see these birds up close.
And then would they release them and they'd come back to him?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, no. They were on field trips. Yeah,
Okay.
they were on field trips.
I'll be
So, but it was
darned.
very cool to see, essentially their habitat and then these just amazing animals up close. And that was my first exposure to Liberty Wildlife, about which you will hear a great deal in a few minutes.
Oh, for heaven's sake. I love it
Yeah,
when things converge.
that's fun.
That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if we saw heron. I remember eagle. I remember hawks. They've said that you can see other mammals that I don't remember seeing. But on the other hand, I had a chattering daughter, a very verbal daughter. Maybe I wasn't paying,
And a 6 week old.
and a 6 week old. Yeah,
My attention might just have
that's
been,
very
a
true.
little split.
Little
Yeah.
scattered. Yeah, yeah. But it certainly was pleasant, and I'm glad that Schmidt and I, okay, I didn't get through another show without mentioning the Bureau. We went when they were building it to do a story,
Oh,
and
cool.
they actually had one of those cars that goes on tracks. They had converted
Oh, yes.
so
Yep.
that we
Yep.
got to travel the route and take the video as if on a train while the train was still being either constructed, cleaned, put together, whatever it was. And
Very
so I
cool.
remember doing that before the fact and then
Yeah.
going back when it was the Verde Canyon Railway.
That is a cool experience to have. I've done that myself. I think I was in Fort Worth, Texas, looking at a possible passenger rail line, and that's how I got to be in the Suburban that was outfitted
Okay.
with rails, rail wheels instead of tires.
Boy, we've just got synergy busting out all over, don't we?
Yeah. What does that look like? Does synergy come out punching? Does it
Oh no,
when
flowing
synergy
very
okay,
smoothly.
yeah, when
Yeah.
synergy busts out, it's yeah.
Yeah. It's still lyric and lovely and
Excellent.
yeah, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm even more eager, if that's possible, to hear. So let's break and come back and learn more about falcons and nature and consortiums. Oh my!
So sounds good.
So I've learned a new word I'm sharing with you: semi-quincentennial, half of 500 or 250. From now on, we can say AZ250. That's the commission leading our celebration of the United States' big birthday next year. We are excited to be the podcast partner, and we'll be sharing aspects of the AZ250 plans. One, the special passport highlighting treasures to visit around Arizona, in addition to hikes and breweries and parks, oh my. You can look it up online with the https://azsos.gov/passport 250. So, tell us more.
So, yes, so I am taking you to the Liberty Wildlife, I guess you would call it headquarters. So, this is a wildlife rescue that rehabilitates desert, specifically desert wildlife, birds, reptiles, mammals. It is basically in South Phoenix, just east of 24th Street, between the Salt River and Broadway.
Okay.
Their intake window alone is worth a visit, because this is where you go if you find a wildlife refugee that needs a little help or needs to be rehomed. You find your way into South Phoenix to 2600 East Elwood and park and pick up what is probably a box with your critter inside it, and go join the line in front of a very large sliding window where an intake volunteer takes, your name and record of anything you know about this creature. And I was there because, for reasons I don't know, there was a tortoise behind my garage in Tempe, where absolutely no tortoise should ever be. So it either escaped and went wandering around, or somebody dropped and left it. But thankfully, I knew that I knew about Liberty Wildlife because they are a Phoenix Zoo partner, and my family has done some work with Phoenix Zoo. And when I talked to my mother about, hey, I was on the train and there's Liberty Wildlife and the track, or the hawks and the birds, and she said, oh yeah, they've partnered with the zoo for years. No idea. So this was really fun. Finding this tortoise, I did exactly sort of what I described. I found an empty file box, lifted it in, much to its displeasure.
So tortoise is plate-sized, bigger or smaller?
Tortoise, yeah. Think soup bowl.
Okay.
In terms of its body, and then, but I mean, it was heavy. This guy, he was from belly to the top of shell, like figure at least a water glass, if not a water glass and a half.
Okay.
And of course, probably everything is bigger in the retelling, but he was
highly domed.
He was good. Yes, he had a very healthy dome. Big guy, did fit in a file box, thankfully, out of which he tried to climb, which was really something to see this tortoise trying to climb cardboard. But I got him there. And the line for the intake window was just really interesting because, you're
writhing
hearing
cotton pillowcases with snakes in them. And...
Well, thankfully, no. We usually like cardboard boxes and people kind of trying to peer over, like, what do you have? And,
what are you in for?
Yeah, and hearing something like, oh, the songbird, fell out of its nest and I got to it before the cat did, this type of thing. Or a kestrel got caught in my canopy, or, whatever it was. And there,
tiny dramas playing out all over the place.
So this is the best part of the intake area. There were perches for large birds on tables within this front area where they do the intake. And there was on them were a red-tailed hawk, a Cooper's hawk, and a crested caracara, which I learned about that day and is not actually a raptor, but is a bird of prey. And they were known as the office managers.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. So I gave in the tortoise and they gave me back my box, and the tortoise did, I think, very well. And I could have gone to visit him, because this is the other thing. And let's just say, for whatever reason, the tortoise was a he to me. No idea why. But could have gone to visit the tortoise, and but because you can go visit the animals that are in exhibits recovering. but I didn't get around to it, and he's likely long gone and rehomed in the desert where he belongs.
Good. Well,
Yeah.
I have two, not just one, but two more Dominic references. I'm looking at the house across the street, figuratively. One is I was going to ask you where it was because his grandma, Mary Goshert, was a long time volunteer at a desert animal sanctuary up north of me. And so
Yep.
her grandkids would go and assist for community service points and things like that. But clearly, this is not that. There's more than one
No.
animal sanctuary. And two, for the longest time, the family had a tortoise, and he liked to come in. So he would make his very pondersome way across the yard. And then if nobody got up to open the sliding glass door, he'd bump it with his head. He'd knock, essentially.
Oh my
And they'd let him
gosh.
in and he'd wander around. And I don't think of desert tortoises as social, especially in a house brimming with lots of excited people and other animals, dogs, cats. But he wanted to be part of the action on a fairly regular basis.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a good friend who has two tortoises. They're both rescues, I think. And pretty sure. And I know that one of them is named Houdini because even though he's a tortoise, he has a way of getting out the gate and has
Oh,
been known to go visit other homes in the neighborhood. So, yeah,
wow.
yeah. So I don't know if that, if it's turtle wanderlust or what, and off they go, or tortoise rather.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But
But
speaking to what we have observed with our dogs and other creatures, boy, there's no one way to be one, is there? I mean,
that's
we can
true.
say tortoises tend to be reclusive, but there's every kind.
Not living in their world, how would we know? Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't think of them as seeking company in general.
Yeah.
Human
Well,
company in general. They don't usually just
there,
come up to meet me when I'm places.
there aren't many jokes that start a tortoise walks into a bar. It's true.
No, but there's a podcast now called A Tortoise Walks Into a Bar
I
where
bet
there will be
there
when this one drops. That's great. That's great. Before we break, again, unless you have anything else to say about the tortoise, I don't want to cut off a story
No,
midstream.
no, I'm very certain that the tortoise is back where tortoises belong.
Good.
Yes.
Well, the mug takes us back to Verde Canyon, Verde River Canyon, Arizona Central Railroad. So
Nice.
this is surely 30 years old because I think of it as the Verde Canyon Railway. And I
Yes.
don't know why it has a little and mugs change over time. There's a look to me that says, yeah, you didn't just buy that. There's kind of a not a vintage look exactly, but white cream color, aqua, verde color, turquoise, and very simple,
Yep.
yeah. They're doing a lot more with like stoneware these days. If you go to a national park or a place,
Yep.
frequently right now everything is stoneware, stoneware, stoneware. But this
Well,
is
and
not.
it's and with logos and graphics, it's not just like the seal or it's not as
Yes,
formal looking now,
that's a
I
good word.
suppose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is one color and pretty, yeah, formal, traditional,
Yeah.
circumspect. Now there's people are having a little more fun on mugs, I think.
People are having, yeah. What kind of fun are you having on your mug? Yeah. There's a conversation starter for brunch or stopper.
Oh, I think a starter. Well, let's break and come back and read stuff.
Sounds good.
It's never too early to start a celebration. Visit Flagstaff is gearing up for the centennial of Route 66. The Flagstaff Visitor Center and the historic train depot is your first stop for Route 66 adventures. You can get 66 Things to Do on Flagstaff's Route 66, the historic Route 66 of Arizona Passport, and the Rock the Route 66 Check-In Challenge for starters. Visit Flagstaff on Route 66.
And so we're back to read.
Yes. Well, you're back to read, I'm back to listen, and then we'll
And
switch
then we'll
places.
switch places. Yeah. So, thinking of the office manager Hawks, I have a poem called Hawkish. Proud and peering sentinel, chiseled contemplation, distanced stillness, dignity, a sight of hushed narration. Mosaic wingspan fascinates, soaring, circling wonder. Mystic, mythic, peace in flight, esteemed and noble hunter. Single melancholy tone, called across the sky, sounding for my keening heart, quickening to your cry, to lift and loft at leisure, the world to spiral through, no day's pace, pressed faster than life revealed to you. This envied grace on raven days, hopped attempts to mimic your earned and honed serenity, makes me a squawking gimmick, flapping to chase at progress, embodies serenity, makes me scuttling easy prey to the hawk I'd like to be.
Isn't that delightful? Lofting and lifting and
Yeah,
mimic.
I
I
had
was
a
thinking
good
cynic, but
time.
no.
I mean, again, not having known many hawks personally, it's possible, but
I've never met a hawk. My folks had Harris hawks in the tree, one of those massive Aleppo pines, for a long
yeah.
time. But we didn't. There was somebody, and maybe I've mentioned this on the podcast recently, in which case I will hope to take this out. And somebody else said, "Are you familiar with, let's say, stamp collecting?" I don't know what it is, but
Mhm.
the answer to the question was, "We've howdied, but we ain't shook."
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So you don't remember me saying that recently?
No, I
Good.
don't.
Okay, then it stays in.
Okay.
But Hawks and I have howdied, but we ain't shook.
That's great. Yeah.
Well,
That's
fun.
really fun.
Well, I'm reading from a brand new source as far as the podcast is concerned, and this is a yet to be published, but I believe soon to be published work called Arizona: The History of Land Acquisition.
Oh,
The
wonderful.
vaunted, almost mythical land book that I think
Yes.
became part of my life. I don't even want to know how long ago it was, but
But
we have
years, yeah.
pressed on. And so when I was thinking, let's see, Clark, and just recently, you and I had talked about Clarkdale as part of the
Yep.
show where you didn't necessarily want to go again. And I thought, Clark, where did I write about that? And realized it was in the manuscript. So an inaugural reading, copyright pending, Greg Vogel,
Very good.
about copper magnet W.A. Clark, and something that I just thought was cool. Copper magnet W.A. Clark visited the United Verde mine in Jerome in 1888. It hadn't turned a profit in 4 years due to lack of both water and a railroad. Clark came and saw opportunity. He created a complete system to mine, crush, and process the copper, and built a narrow gauge line connecting to the Santa Fe track, thereby cutting the cost of moving the ore significantly. But he wasn't done. Clark created a workers' village down to libraries and schools. Clarkdale became Arizona's first planned community in 1912, the
I'll
year
be
of
darned.
statehood. Yeah, I wouldn't have known this if I hadn't researched it. The baseball park, swimming pools, disability insurance, and bonus wages for better performance were far ahead of their time.
Hmm.
Clark's next chapter took place outside of Arizona, but bears mentioning because it involves an arguable sister city to Clarkdale. Needing a facility for servicing a railroad line that would link his Salt Lake City interests to Los Angeles, Clark set up a camp in what would become Clark County. The town site
Oh.
followed Clark's model of schools, churches, water, and roads, but its trajectory altered over time. Las Vegas, Nevada,
Yeah.
is now by far the bigger sibling of the two towns Clark built.
Wow. Yes, that is
Yeah.
very cool.
I had not
Yes.
known till I started looking.
Clark County. Yeah. That's wild.
Isn't it?
Yes,
Thank you
it is.
for
That's
seeing that
really
the way I do.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And WA was Butte, Montana before he was here.
Okay.
So quick shout out to David McCumber, who was Butte, Montana's newspaper editor, among many other things in his storied career, and among those city editor at the Arizona Daily Star, back when I had a predilection to date Arizona Daily Star reporters. And I remember taking an AP test there, and the city editor, a guy named John Cameron, giving me kind of a gimlet eye. I was the Green Valley reporter then, and so I was miles below their level.
Okay, this is funny. You said you were taking an AP test, and I was thinking like advanced placement.
Oh,
So like you were dating
sorry.
reporters when you were in high school?
Oh, no,
Wait a
no, no,
minute.
no, 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 no. Sorry, the other AP, because
Got it.
AP placement, AP advanced placement always makes me think, no, no, Associated Press. So it was
How funny.
a standard in the industry, an Associated Press test that you
Really?
could submit clips, obviously, but this was also, are you literate, essentially? How smart are you? Can you find 6 errors in a piece of copy to edit? How quickly can you edit it?
Oh,
It was a kind of a reporter skills test. I have no
wow.
idea how I did on it. Not a clue.
Well enough to become a reporter.
Well, not there though. The Star never did hire me.
Oh,
The
how
Star never
funny.
hired me. I don't think that's why I did it. It's reporters. But anyway, McCumber, he wrote a wonderful book called The Cowboy Way that I found and read, and then I, as I tend to do, hunted him down online and said, "You wouldn't remember me, but I just read The Cowboy Way," so that when Larry and I did the 89-90 trip up US 89 when he had turned 90,
Yes.
McCumber had said, "Hey, you should stay in Butte and you should stay in whatever the hotel name was because there's a bank vault still in the basement and you can sleep in the vault."
Oh my
And Larry
gosh.
and I did, and got a magnet that said I slept in the vault at whatever.
Oh,
And
wow.
then we had dinner at a restaurant that had a vault that was used for a wine room. And then the
Cool.
next morning went to breakfast where he recommended, and there was a vault upstairs. And I thought, does everywhere in Butte have a vault? Is this just part of what it means to live in Butte? Butte, there's a vault.
Well, wasn't it a gold rush town?
Yes, and a copper town. So
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
you certainly nailed why there are vaults, but I don't remember ever being in a place where there was a vault literally everywhere I went,
In
except the
every
laundromat.
building.
The
Yeah.
laundromat did not have a vault, but it had a coffee shop and a tanning salon. So that made it special in a very different way.
The laundromat had a coffee shop and a tanning salon?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, let's run back to Arizona because I feel disloyal closing out an episode of celebrating Arizona in somebody else's state. So
I
we're
get
back.
that. Yes, but
And
I mean, I think what we can celebrate is that Arizona, well, like most of the country, but especially Arizona, being of the younger states, is peopled largely by people from somewhere else.
very true. Good point. And W.A.
Yeah.
Clark spent his time here and made his contributions and apparently went on to other things. But yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
someday we might or might not go to Clarkdale, huh? We'll see.
Oh, certainly.
Okay.
Yes. There are all
Yeah.
kinds of good reasons to go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, a pleasure as always. I hope for you and everybody else who are around as well as myself.
Yes, yes. Only happy trails and miles ahead to everyone. And bye for
Happy
now.
trails and miles. I like that. Thank you.
Okay, bye for now.
We'd really like to hear from you about anything this show led you to think about. Write to us at celebratingaz.com. The wizard behind making a conversation into a podcast is Tom Heidinger. The music comes from Daniel Blatney. And I'm Dana Cooper.